Oh, hey everybody. Oh, look, there's a voicemail from Vince. Hang on a second.
Hey, what's up, Jeremy? Listen, man, I'm stuck at the airport in Chicago because Border Patrol doesn't want to let me go. Do you think you could go ahead and do the show for me this week? Because I'm not going to be able to make it, man. Thank you so much. I hope it's okay. Really appreciate it.
Border Patrol in Chicago? I don't know about that, but what I do know about is how to deal with the desk adjuster. We're going to talk about 3 different things this week. And 1, it's going to help you establish a rapport. 2, it is going to let you know who you're working with. And 3, it's going to get you some pretty key information about a policy before the whole claims process gets started. We're going to do that in 3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody? I'm Jeremy Lavelle. I am the commercial claims coach, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about how we deal with desk adjusters.
Listen up, advocates. Whether you're a public adjuster, contractor, or an attorney, if you have a client that has suffered any kind of catastrophic loss, whether that be by fire or storm or just any catastrophic loss that requires your client to have to move out and incur ALE and loss of use coverage, you need to think about looking at Black Diamond Services. This is an incredible idea for a service that I think is extremely valuable, and I've actually personally used for my clients myself. Basically, what they do is they provide all of the necessary money that is needed to be done for the homeowner to go and move to another place, whether that be a hotel or another home or whatever it is. They basically bill through their insurance policy's loss of use coverage, and basically they provide financial assistance so that the insured never has to incur any out-of-pocket expenses. It's an amazing service. I love the people at Black Diamond Services, especially Millie Varela. If you just contact her and contact Black Diamond Services, I'm telling you, they're going to take care of your clients like you wouldn't believe. I personally have a client who suffered a fire damage and had to use their ALE coverage, and all we did was refer them to Black Diamond. Our clients did not have to come out of pocket a single penny. Black Diamond provided all of the financial money, and they provided the actual location for the homeowner to stay. Amazing service. Contact Black Diamond Services today so you could find out more information for yourself.
Yes, that's right. Desk adjusters can be really, really pesky, and they can also be very, very argumentative. But what we want to do is we want to lay a groundwork. We don't want to be argumentative. What we want to do is get information and do our best to work with the desk adjuster. And the best way to do that is to understand the playing field that we're all working with here. And so what we want to do is we want to pick up the phone and we just simply want to give them a call. It's like, hi, my name's Jeremy Lavelle with Remedy Claims. The first thing I'd like to do is, did you get the letter of recommendation that I sent in for this claim number? And you just wait for them to answer. And then basically they say yes, and then they'll ask you what they can do for you, and just say, hey, look, I'm looking to confirm some things about the policy. And you may already have some of this info, but you want to know that they're working with the same exact information that you're working with. Now remember, this is not a certified policy. What we're finding out here is how the desk adjuster views the policy, and that's going to be really key when it comes down to setting the value and negotiating this thing at the end. So you just want to confirm some things about the policy. The very first thing that you're going to ask about is the coverages, and just confirm the coverages or ask what the coverages are for coverage A, dwelling, coverage B, other structures, coverage C, contents, or coverage D, additional living expenses. And so we're going to get all of those written down, and then we're going to move on and say, who do you have as listed named insurers? Always a good idea to make sure that you have everybody on there, because if one of the insureds happens to be deceased, or they're out of the country, or they're hard to find, that check, when it comes in, is going to have multiple insureds on it, and you're going to have to get them to endorse it before the check can be cashed. The other thing that you want to find out and confirm is who the carrier has on record for the mortgage company. The mortgage company is going to be really critical here, but as you know, if you own your own home, your mortgage can be sold without a moment's notice. It's now being handled by this person, and you want to confirm that mortgage company so that you can make sure that that mortgage company matches the mortgage company that's actually servicing the mortgage for this time. Because if they cut the check, it's got the wrong mortgage company on it, we're going to have to do this all over again. So confirm the mortgage company, really important. The other thing you want to do is confirm the effective dates and make sure that there was coverage in place for your date of loss. Now, by and large, if there is already a claim number that you have or an estimate that you have, have, and you can tell that coverage is already extended, well, that's fine, but you still want to confirm the dates. Make sure that the person that you're negotiating with is dealing with the same information. Now, remember, you're writing all of this down. This is just not a mental checklist. You want to write all this down, and it will be important later. The next thing that you want to talk about is you want to talk about anything that's special about the policy. It could be anything from endorsements or specific exclusions. Like sometimes mold is not covered. Sometimes mold is not covered by some policies, and sometimes it's capped with an endorsement. Sometimes coverage is extended. You won't know, so you want to confirm these sorts of things. You might want to cover whether or not there's law and ordinance in place. You certainly want to cover whether or not it's a replacement cost value policy or an actual cash value policy. These are things that you want to know before you move forward and do a lot of work and put in a lot of effort for investigating a claim. That's the problem, is like you want to have all of the facts, and generally the person that can get you this information quickly is the desk adjuster. They're going to be the ones that have sort of, reservation of rights aside and anything like requests for information and all of the different formal things that go on. You're going to get a really good idea of whether or not this desk adjuster thinks coverage is going to be afforded. So this is important. The next thing that you want to talk to them about is you want to talk to them about have they used any third-party vendors? Have they sent out an engineer? Have they sent out like a ladder service or something like that to handle the initial inspection for this loss? Who have they sent out? You're going to ask, have they generated any reports? Can you get those reports, or can you share with me the information that has been taken from this report? And did you use these reports to make a coverage decision? These are all important ideas. Is this the report that you're relying on to make a coverage decision about this claim? And then once you do that, then you can then ask about the qualifications of the people that you hired. You can ask what their names are. Now, whether or not they share it or not, it doesn't matter. You're going to write down the fact that they refuse to answer these questions. This too is also going to be important. Obviously, you're going to ask if they can share the report, and if they can't share the report, they may tell you that it's protected work product. Now, that's a whole nother video altogether, and I'm going to save that for one of our law and policy episodes that you may catch me on over on the Pain of the Claim. But for now, we're going to talk about whether or not we're not going to get into whether or not it's work product, but that may be what they tell you, and it's important to write that answer down. And then after you've gotten all of this information about the third-party vendors, now we want to get into the nitty-gritty of the policy. We want to get into the details. The first thing that I ask them to do is go over the duties after a loss. Now, the duties after a loss, I want them to read them to me. I don't have a copy of the policy. If you can email it to me quickly, but I am going to go over these duties with you, whether you want to set an appointment later. I am going to go over all of these actions with you to make sure that we understand who's providing what and in what form and in what manner you want these things. And so there's a very key thing once it asks for a proof of loss. So one of the last things it asks in the duties after a loss is that the insured is to provide a proof of loss, most commonly within 60 days. Now, sometimes it will say within 60 days of our request, and we will provide you the form. There's a lot of different things, but by and large, then after that, it goes into the things that the proof of loss has to have. And there is one specific place that's really my favorite. It is really the place where the carriers try to dig in and really and truly take away the control of the narrative from the insured. The insured is the one that suffered the loss. The insured is the one that has the story to tell. And this is where they commonly insert themselves and try to tell the story for them. And that's what I want to stop. And so this is generally, most commonly, policies will read different. You're going to hear something like, we need any specifications of any damaged structure. So square footages, height, width, where it is, what happened. So specifications of any damaged structures and the detailed estimates for repair of the damage. And it's like, and if they have already provided an estimate to the insured, the carrier, if they've already provided one, here is the really interesting thing that you ask is like, look, I see here that you provided an estimate, but this is a duty that falls under the insured's responsibilities. Is there going to be anything else that you're going to be providing on behalf of this insured? And you just kind of sit there and wait and let them answer. What they answer does not matter. You're not there to argue with them. You're not there to convince them of anything. You're there to ask them questions and write down their answer. And that's basically it. But when they provide you the information that they're giving you, whatever the answer is, you can then go, okay, I see that you've done that. Okay, maybe you're not providing any other services. Well, can you tell me a little bit about who wrote the estimate? Was it an independent adjuster? Was it someone that was from your staff? Okay, great. You don't know who it is, or you do know who it is. Can I ask you a question? Were they provided a copy of the policy prior to making coverage decisions on this claim? And you can just wait for the answer. Maybe they were, maybe they weren't. But the point is you're writing this answer down. Then Once you have all of that information together, you ask them if they were provided a copy of the policy. And so then you're going to ask them, what were their instructions? If they weren't provided a copy of the policy, so they have no idea what is or isn't covered, so that they could write a complete and full estimate. And here's an example. If, for example, they run into something where they know that there is a code item that is missing from this home, and if they have code upgrade, it would be covered and included in the estimate. Whereas if they don't have code upgrade, it would not be included. So having all of the information about the policy is the only real way that you can write a true and accurate estimate for a given loss or a given risk location. It's important that they have it. If they don't, that's a big deal, because now this person who is, and then maybe we ask if they're qualified. What is their history? Do they know construction? Did they consult any experts when they were writing this? And most importantly, what building code did they reference when they were writing this estimate? So the whole point here, guys, is that they're writing estimates that are not only low, but perfunctory at best. And so we want to expose that. And basically, when you ask these questions after you're writing all of this thing down, you have essentially let the desk adjuster know it is going to be very easy for me to discredit any estimate that's been written, or your ability to really make any coverage decisions on this claim, because you don't have any real information. You're reading a script and I jumped off the script and now you have to deal with me. And I am telling you to be nice, do whatever you can. And then finally, be nice, do whatever you can, and continue to be respectful and professional, because these are legitimate questions. Finally, if you want to ask them what sort of estimating platform, if you estimate on a different platform, that's fine. You just need to get an agreement on that, because if you have an agreement, then they understand what's going on. I use Xactimate because they use Xactimate. And when they agree to use the Xactimate platform, I can drag in the go, back on this day, we agreed to use the Xactimate platform. And now not only do I bring in the use of the software to generate an estimate, I also bring in all the theory and the white papers and the discovery that has gone on with this estimating software as it pertains to its accuracy. And so if we are going to use a platform, it needs to be vetted for accurate. If I turned you in something that you didn't recognize, you would want to vet it for accuracy, which is generally the reason a carrier needs to write an estimate, is to make sure that we're in line. And so when you go to discredit that estimate, it's not that it doesn't matter, it's that it's not as well researched as yours is. And that is the idea, is that I am providing you more information, more up-to-date information, and more accurate information, so that you can make an informed decision about coverage on this given claim. And now finally, once you have settled all of that, what you're going to do is you're going to sit down and you're going to write an email detailing the questions that you asked and all of the answers that were given. Even if they refused to answer, they said that they didn't know, all of that you're going to write down. And at the very end, you're going to say something. It's like, look, I am asking, this is my takeaway from the email, from the conversation that we had. If anything that I have said or detailed in this email is incorrect or inaccurate, please let me know as soon as possible. And so they will either let you know, and then you can renegotiate the way you're going to handle the claim on that one issue, or they're not going to say anything at all, in which case you gave them the opportunity. This thereby becomes an agreement in writing that you can use down the road. Now, is it a silver bullet? Absolutely not. It's not always going to get you everything you want, but I'm telling you, this sort of documentation that you have that they're agreeing to is going to matter should this thing go legal. And I can't tell you when it should go legal or if it should go legal. What I can tell you is this sort of documentation and the history of conversations that carriers have with their insured is going to matter as it pertains to understanding how the policy was interpreted at the moment of the loss. And so we want to understand all of that. Guys, I hope that helps. The idea here is don't make assumptions. Don't have high expectations. Don't just hope everything's going to turn out. You have to have an agreement. And remember, your true intelligence is not measured by the facts that you know, but the questions that you ask. My name is Jeremy Lavelle. I am with Remedy Claims Consulting. I'm your commercial claims coach. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments below. If you like what you're hearing, don't forget to click like and subscribe. You can find more information about me at remedyclaims.com. I'm at Claims Coach on Instagram. You can also listen to the Pain of the Claim podcast if you want to hear more of me. If you're interested in Elite Resolutions, Vince is the CEO of Elite Resolutions. I encourage you to go over there, eliteresolutions.com. We also have commercialclaimsadvocate.com that you can go to, and we've got all sorts of things. We have got virtual video training. You can sign up for classes. Vince has the only public adjuster handbook that has ever been published. If you don't own one, you need to go sign up for that right now. Get that sent over to you because it will help things snap into focus for you. But don't forget that we also have Advocates United events all over the country. That's where you have the opportunity to network with other public adjusters, contractors, experts. I am at a ton of them. Vince is there. You can meet us. But remember, guys, we are stronger together. Don't forget it, and I will see you on the next one.